Good evening. Have the City of Lathrup Village City Council regular meeting and I'm calling to order the meeting. Roll call, please.
Roll call, Mayor Garrett,
Yes, here.
Mayor Pro Tem Cantor, Councilmember Jennings,
Here.
Councilmember Canes,
Here.
Councilmember Miller.
Here.
Madam Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. I invite everyone that's on Zoom in the audience, to say the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we approve the agenda, I'll take a motion to excuse Mayor Pro Tem Cantor.
Motion to excuse Mayor Pro Tem Cantor.
Second. It's been moved in second. All in favor, sorry, roll call.
Councilmember Jennings,
Yes.
Councilmember Canes,
Yes.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Mayor Garrett,
Yes,
motion carried.
thank you. Need the approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Support. It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Jennings,
Yes.
Councilmember Canes,
Yes.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Mayor Garrett,
Yes.
motion carried.
Now we have public comment for items on the agenda. So if you want to say anything in regards to something that is on the agenda, please come to the microphone or raise your hand on Zoom. Your opportunity to discuss anything that is on the agenda this evening. Be limited to 3 minutes. Okay, we'll just close the public comment, go to the consent agenda. Would like to make a motion to accept the consent agenda. All the things that are listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine and non-controversial. And they're approved in one motion. There will be no separate discussion.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda, removing, pulling, A, approval of minutes and F, citation revenue report.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Canes,
Yes.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Mayor Garrett,
Yes,
Councilmember Jennings,
Yes.
motion carried.
thank you. So we'll go to the approval of minutes first.
On the minutes for the special city council meeting for March 6, 2023,
Can you give us a page number, please?
page number 10. My comments are missing, at the end of the meeting. Where I said I requested the information regarding what we have paid Giffords Webster and the infrastructure FOIA. I went through the check registers from November 2020 through November 2022, and we had paid Giffords Webster over $1,800,000. That's not in there. Can that be added? Okay, thank you. And my point in that was that when we have paid that kind of money, we should be holding them accountable for all of the issues that residents have faced during the infrastructure projects. And then the citation revenue report. I just wanted to share this information. I asked about how much we take in from the citations that are issued by our police department. And it looks like in June of 2021, net of revenues and expenditures was $96,384.96. As of June 30th, 2020, it was $71,992.34. And so far, the first 6 months of this year, the citations have brought in $41,794.28. So if anyone was wondering about those figures, that's That's the information that Chief McKee supplied.
Anyone like to make a motion to approve the A, approval of the minutes, and F, the citation review report?
I'll make a motion to approve A and F.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Mayor Garrett,
Yes.
Councilmember Jennings,
Yes.
Councilmember Canes.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. We're gonna jump right into the action request for consideration and approval. The first up is the Ulliance Employee Assistance Program.
Staff met with a representative from our healthcare insurance coverage and our representative from that. And he's been doing some work trying to find an EAP, an employee assistance program for us. Our police department, in order to receive their accreditation, needs to have an EAP program. It's beneficial for our employees, it's beneficial for our police, it really shows support for them. Speaking to mental health, to wellness, the employee assistance program that was brought to council is from Ulliance. It's in the amount of $6,500, and it covers all the employees here within this that work for the city of Lathrup Village, for their families, and council and their spouse and families as well. So it's a very comprehensive program. It is very confidential. It's something that an employee, family member, staff person, whomever can call in if they want to talk to somebody about something that they're going through. There's a financial assistance program that's available, or financial advice that's available, not assistance, but advice that's available, legal advice that's available through this program. There's even a human resources component of it, which I just found out tonight. Wrote that down, ding, ding, ding. That is offered quarterly that we can do with our staff here as training. And as opposed to our health insurance coverage that can range anywhere from $900 a month to $2,000 a month, depending on if you're single or if you're family, that's per that person. This covers everybody for $6,500. And is highly recommended through our Blue Cross Blue Shield program. This is separate from them. Anybody that would call in that they would speak to would speak with a representative that is a counselor that is certified. It's not somebody that's, let me take your information and then we'll spend time trying to get you lined up with somebody. You get hooked up right away and get the help, get started in that direction. And there's no cap on it for the number of times that you can go and get that, unless it is something that goes beyond what an EAP. EAPs do not provide or do not prescribe medication. So if it needed to go into something of that step, then they would help to refer you, working through your insurance company, to somebody that would be able to do that. And so staff's recommendation is to approve the Life Advisor Employee Assistance Program with Ulliance in the amount of $6,500 a year.
Thank you. Anyone want to make a motion?
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve the Life Advisor Employee Assistant Program with Ulliance in the amount of $6,500 per year.
Second.
It's been moved in second. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I do actually have a question I didn't ask in the study session. Is this a new accreditation for the police department or a continuation of something that they already have?
I believe it's a new accreditation for them.
And do we know what it is or?
What I wrote through there is the accreditation process for the Lathrup Village Police Department through the Michigan Association of Chiefs of Police. So it's an accreditation program that the police department, anytime there's an accreditation program, it's something that we're doing above and beyond. Sometimes it's a requirement, and that's something that they strive to get, so that it's all good programs for them, those accreditations. So did you have more information?
They also
Pam?
have to update all their policies through this, and they go through a training and through different cities or townships or whoever, sheriff's department. They go to this training and then they bring that information back, and then they're updating our policies and things like that. It's a long process. I mean, it can take up to I think 2 years to get this accreditation. and we don't have the accreditation here, but a lot of the surrounding areas do have it. So, and I know, Teresa from the police department, she's been to the training for it, Scott's been to the training, and Mike Zing's been to the training. You have anything further on it?
I'm an accreditation manager.
Okay.
Oh.
See?
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Roll call, Mayor Garrett,
Yes.
Councilmember Jennings,
Yes.
Councilmember Canes.
Yes.
Councilmember Miller.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Next up, we have the zoning text amendments with dumpster rubbish.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So before you today is recommendation from the Planning Commission to amend the zoning ordinance language related to dumpsters and waste storage. This was prompted when one of our newest businesses, Ambassadors Institute, came before the planning commission for site plan approval and special land use or recommendation. And planning commission had a bit of a stumbling block when it came to the dumpsters. So and whether or not it was a reasonable requirement to maintain in section 5.3.2. There is a requirement that states every building in every district other than R1 and R2 shall provide within the building a fire protected waste and refuse storage space measuring 5 cubic feet or 100 or each 100 feet of buildable area, but at least 225 cubic feet. So, which basically means businesses would have to store their waste inside in a fire protected space inside and then take it out to the dumpster. This was in conflict with what the general code says. So after much discussion, the planning commission made the amendment to remove the words shall provide and changed it instead to may provide, leaving that fire protected space as an option. In addition to having dumpsters, or as many of our businesses have covered roll-off containers that are in inconspicuous space in the alley. So this is before you today to officially adopt. And I am here to answer any questions. In case I've had something.
And I'll just add to that, we did discuss it during the study session, but this was, the public hearing was held at the planning commission. The first reading was approved by the planning commission. So this is in essence, the second reading. The only time that city council will see this. Typically, a general ordinance will appear on the list for two separate times, first and the second reading, but you only see this once.
Here, anyone wants to make a motion that you're probably gonna have to help them with.
The motion would be to approve the Article 5 revisions as provided.
You said Article 5,
Yeah, amend Article 5 revisions.
motion to approve, amend Article 5 revisions.
To approve the amended Article 5.
I swear.
I gotta get.
Motion to approve the amended. Oh, Article 5, thank you, good Lord, if you guys would just write it down. What else?
Article 5.
Provisions. Can I get a second, please?
I think I understood that, so I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Yes. Was there any checking? If there are any fire codes or anything that require this? That require what we had?
So the requirement, really what it came down to was there was a conflict between our general ordinance and our zoning ordinance. The zoning ordinance gave commercial property owners two options, either have a dumpster or have indoor fire suppressed trash storage. So for a lot of the commercial properties that are smaller, don't generate enough trash to utilize or to justify a dumpster enclosure, or they don't have the location inside for fire suppressed trash storage. This provides them with an opportunity to utilize the trash containers as they are allowed to do so under the general ordinance. So it doesn't change, the standards are still the same. So if a business chooses and they want to have indoor, those standards are still the standards that are required under the fire code, the building code for indoor trash storage. So those standards haven't changed. Those remain the same. It's just no longer mandatory for all businesses to do that.
So what would the, like during the week, throughout the week, what would their like trash area look like? If
So
they're
if-
just
if-
putting it
If
outside?
it doesn't look just like a trash can, it's in an inconspicuous screened location from the public, then they're gonna be getting a visit from our code enforcement officer. Because if they are generating enough trash that they either need more trash containers or it's not being contained within the trash container. Then obviously they're gonna be required to have the dumpster enclosure, but if they're not producing enough trash to create that much trash, I guess, the way to put it, then they could be okay as long as it's, everything is inconspicuous and screened in a orderly fashion.
So this wouldn't force like Bill to need to go out more to observe what's going on, or would it force him?
Well, he should, and I think he is, I don't,
No, more, no, I mean, add it to the list of things he already looks at.
it really shouldn't have that big of an impact. Most of the commercial businesses that are gonna continue doing what they're already doing. If they've got a dumpster, they're gonna continue to hopefully utilize that dumpster. We do have some commercial properties that struggle with that as is, and that's an area that code enforcement is generally on top of. So this would just be along those lines of what his duties are, making sure that the alleyways are clean, free of debris, and that the trash is being stored properly.
So the fireproof thing isn't a requirement?
No, it's not. Before it was, like I said, it was either they had to have a dumpster or have it stored inside. It wasn't an option or a zoning for them to just have a trash can.
We have a lot of salons and stuff with flammable products. How do we deal with that?
Are you talking about as far as sprinkling a building, or are you talking about garbage and waste?
I'm talking about storage of garbage and waste, because if you have a required fireproof storage area inside, that makes sense for those kinds of things that come out of a salon. So if we're getting rid of this, how will that be
So
regulated?
though, again, those existing commercial properties that do have salons in them. I think most of those, I don't think any single one of those currently has indoor trash storage. All of those are relying on dumpsters out back. So that would be continued to be placed. And that's one of the things one of the struggles that code enforcement, it doesn't matter which code enforcement officer it is. They've all had the same struggles getting the businesses to actually take that trash and put it in and then close those dumpster enclosures and keep them looking orderly. So again, hopefully this shouldn't change that. I don't believe that businesses that have dumpsters are gonna get rid of their dumpsters and.
Right, and I just talked about this, I can't think of a single salon space that does not have, or a salon that shares space with other, multi-tenant buildings. I can't think of anyone that doesn't have. It's really just an extra option, right? For how trash is, commercial.
And then that will be monitored, and if there's any issues, it'll come back.
Yes.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Roll call, Mayor, Councilmember Jennings,
Yes.
Councilmember Canes,
Yes.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Mayor Garrett,
Yes,
motion carried.
thank you. Next, we have the Lathrup Village AMI proposal.
We have the automatic or automated meter infrastructure program before you tonight. The infrastructure study group submitted a proposal back in October to council. for a water system technology upgrade that would allow for the placement of 2 or 3 antennas, gateway antennas that would collect the water data from the residential and commercial meters that we have in the city. Rather than currently, we have to do drive-by technology, which consumes time from our DPW out there having to do the drive-by. And that's done twice a month currently, unless we have to do a special read somewhere. So this would allow for us to have almost real-time reads that could be done. There could be reports each day that would help us look for spikes in usage, and would help us to see if there are any high usage that may be indicative of a leak somewhere. A customer, we have people that call every now and then that will ask, why is my water bill so high? And Pam is so good at what she does. She always says, go look at your meter and see if it's spinning. If it's spinning, look and make sure that all your water is shut off, that your toilets aren't running, that you don't have a sump pump that is running, whatever that may be. And she can help people generally determine what's going on if there's a leak out there. But it doesn't happen all the time. And if you get a shock of a bill, that you weren't expecting, it's truly a shock to you to have a high bill come in from something like that. So this kind of technology would allow, it utilizes our current meters that we have. It allows for the city to be able to collect that data through software technology upgrades and be able to do that here. The cost for that this would be $120,000, $403.29. And there's potential to have 3 gateway antennas installed with the quote. It may only require 2, so it might be less than that. But the motion is to, and the other thing, because Ferguson right now is the sole source provider for Neptune meters, which are the meters that the city of Lathrup Village uses. So therefore, they're the only ones who can do this technology upgrade for us. Otherwise, we would have to go with completely new meters, a different system entirely. So the suggested motion is to waive the bidding process. Because Ferguson Waterworks is the sole source provider of Neptune water meters, and approve the Lathrup Village AMI proposal in an amount not to exceed $120,403.29. And the money would be taken from the capital improvement bond, money that has already been set aside for this purpose.
Thank you. Who would like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to waive the bidding process because Ferguson Waterworks is the sole source provider of Neptune water meters, and approve the Lathrup Village. Is that me? Oh. Not to exceed $120,403.29.
I have a second.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Yes. I think that we need to stop and reevaluate. This was decided prior to the fire chief's report. We don't have the water pressure to put out fires. The Southfield Fire Department can't depend on our infrastructure. I don't feel like we should be spending $120,000 on technology when really our residents' lives are in danger because they can't put out fires. The committee and Giffords Webster knew about this problem in 2019, yet they chose to spend our resources on other things. So looking at this, considering the dire information that we received from the fire department, I believe that this money should be redirected, and I believe voting for this would be irresponsible.
Okay, well, can you explain why do you think this is, irresponsible? I'm just trying to get an understanding because you're talking about the water pressure.
Yeah.
But I know we get a lot of water loss from, or the meter readings are can be incorrect, so.
Well, and it really wasn't the meters, it was a problem, other problems, underbilling and those kinds of things. And as far as the school and Michigan First, that information was available in BSNA online. I brought it to the attention of people January of 2022. So being able to track those things, yes, it's not as easy as, you know, the latest technology, but with the other major issues and needs that we have, we can't, we don't have the luxury of having the latest technology. We need to protect our residents.
Any further discussion? Well, I actually have a question, so that was already in the bond.
It wasn't.
So the amount of money that is coming from.
The technology portion of it, there was money that was set aside to purchase new water meters. And the technology component of that as a complete AMI system, the automated system. This is taking the water meters out of that system or out of that project and just doing the technology upgrade.
The technology wasn't in there. The bond itself was quite flexible. It wasn't specific. It just said water meters because at that point they believed that that's what the issue was with our huge water loss, and it was not. And when that bond was presented, we were told that there would be a modest increase, $9.81 per month at the very most. The actual enacted rate increase should be lower and should also fall significantly over the first few years as some of the infrastructure issues are corrected. While the rate will rise with any subsequent fund issuance, the reduction in water loss will keep the rates from ever reaching the $9.81 amount noted previously. This is from the December 20th, 2021 recommendation from the Infrastructure Committee. So $9.81 was supposed to be the absolute max that we would be billed. My latest water bill has a charge of $10.70. So, you know, the information that was provided is not correct. I don't see oversight over this. And the bond does allow flexibility to spend the money. It did not have to be specific on what the money was spent on. And again, I just feel that it was irresponsible to not fix those water meters the water mains when the city was aware that we did not have water pressure to put out fires. And I just think this money needs to be redirected. You know, we had a whole room full of people who did not want streets opened up. And the only reason we had to open up the streets is because we don't have adequate water pressure because those water mains were not addressed. And
I
so
do want to correct that because that's not completely
Mhm.
accurate. There have been water main replacements. Santa Barbara has been completed from 11 mile to 12 mile. There have been other areas that have been completed. There's more on the list for this year. So we are working to improve that. And
Giffords Webster made a recommendation in 2019 before the Infrastructure Committee met to replace 15,560 feet of water mains as soon as possible. To date, we have replaced, I believe, 3,750 feet. So that's to me, that's not acceptable. It's not acceptable to put our residents at risk like this when the problem is known. And I will not take responsibility, you know, for directing money to technology so that, you know, someone doesn't have to drive up and down the streets to get our readings. Yeah, that would be great. It would be much more convenient. But as I said, we have much more urgent issues that need to be addressed. So that's.
Any further discussion?
Does anyone here know when the water pressure testing is going to start again on those fire hydrants?
it should be within the next month or so. And our DPW will be going out with the fire department to make sure that the fire hydrants are turned on and turned off. So a hammer isn't created.
Well, new fire hydrants are pretty useless if the water pressure isn't suitable.
It's not so much the water pressure, Karen.
It-
I'm
it-
not
it
sure
i- it
exactly
is.
Where the information that you're getting is coming from. But
Well-
part of that too is when when you do have weak areas, if it was the fire hydrant itself that was the problem, the break would happen right there. When they had 5 breaks that weekend, it was something that happened. They'd be testing a water meter on this side of the city and an area over here away from it, the
A
weaker area.
Water
And
main,
that's,
right.
that's caused from a hammer. When you don't shut off the hydrant correctly.
it's caused by old water mains
Well,
that
yes,
need
the
to be
water mains
replaced.
here are old
Well,
and
I'll,
we are
I'll
working
share,
to
I'll share the
address
Giffords
that,
Webster
but-
report with you. That's where I got my information, so I'll share
But
that with you.
part of that too is understanding how fire hydrants work, and Scott, you worked on that as well, you can address that too with.
Yeah, the issue of breaking, when you open a fire hydrant and close it very quickly, it creates that condition known as water hammer, and that's what will cause, that will travel back up the line. And if areas of to indicate areas that are weak or compromised, that's where you'll see your break first.
Right,
This issue, and just to weigh in on this, this issue has been in the city prior to earlier
Yeah,
than
2017.
2017. I think it's the very first time, it was either late 16 or early 17 when this was identified and addressed. And the problem is that it's a significant cost, far greater than even the roads. I think, and the engineer is not here, but I think it was somewhere upwards of $25 to $30 million to adequately replace the.
that's
the
to
water.
replace
So,
everything, but that 15,560 that was recommended to be replaced ASAP, that has not been addressed. So we are at risk in our city. And so I just think that $120,000 may not do a lot, but it will do something. And rather than spending it, as I said, on technology, I think we have a responsibility to our residents to redirect that funding.
the problem is that you're not going to be able, realistically, because this is a capital improvement, coming from a capital improvement bond, and yes, it is. There is flexibility in that, and the earmarks that are identified when the bond's initially approved. They're not binding, they have to sit and can float that cash as long as it's being utilized for a capital expenditure. By the close of this project, those funds aren't, there's not going to be adequate funds to even dig up a water main and begin replacing it. I think you're missing an opportunity to increase the technology in the city, recoup some of those costs and benefits that Sue has identified.
I don't know, I don't see the data on those benefits actually. And who says it's going to significantly reduce costs, improve efficiency, provide better customer service.
It was part
Faster
of the
building,
infrastructure
improved
study
cash
group
flow.
report that came out from the entire infrastructure study group. That was what council had already approved. And had.
But it did not have technology in it. I have
It did.
recommended,
It
no,
did. It has the recommendation. That is the recommendation. You had 2 options, either you replace everything, including the water meters, or you focus solely on the technology.
no, we don't have to do it. I've read the bond proposal. I've read all
I'm
of it.
talking about
There
the
is
infrastructure
flexibility.
study group.
I understand. I've read all of the reports from the infrastructure group. I have all of that information. And there was a flexibility. All of that money does not have to be spent within 3 years. You don't have to spend what you have approved. And so we do have
Do you
flexibility.
understand how bonds work, Karen?
I do understand, Susan. Yes, I do.
No, because you do have to spend that money in a certain amount of time.
Well, yes, you do have to spend, but you don't have to spend all of it, is what I'm saying. We could
Yes, you
say,
do.
we're not required to spend the money. I'll pull up all of the reports from the bonding agencies and all of those things. We are not required to spend the money.
I would like to call for a question.
He's calling for the question. Go ahead. Roll call.
Roll call. Councilmember Canes,
Yes,
Councilmember Miller,
No?
Mayor Garrett,
Yes.
Councilmember Jennings.
Yes.
Motion carried.
It doesn't carry. It's an allocation of funds. It doesn't carry.
So it'll just be put on the next, our next, meeting. Next up is the DPW security camera proposal.
Okay, that was handed out to you at study session. We currently have a security system there that we need to upgrade. That's for the inside of the building to make sure that it stays secure. The DPW yard is gated, but that is the only form of security that we have outside. Given the price of materials, the amount of fire hydrants we have sitting out there, it's recommended that we continue with the same type of security cameras that we already have here at City Hall. Place 3 of them out at the DPW garage yard in various locations. So that we can keep a better eye on things that are going on out there, make sure that stuff stays secure. This is utilizing the same program that we already have in place. It would tie into the system already here at City Hall. And it would be able to be monitored by the police here on a regular basis, so. I don't know if you have any further questions on that. I'm sorry, this just was put on the agenda so that we can potentially have it approved tonight. So the recommendation would be to go ahead and sign the proposal in the amount of $9,865.42 and authorize me as the city administrator to sign that.
Thank you. Who would like to make the motion?
Got the motion.
Is to sign the proposal for the with TCG for the outdoor camera security system. And authorize the city administrator to sign the proposal.
So move.
To have a second?
An amount not to exceed $9,865.42.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved in second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Canes,
Yes.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Mayor Garrett,
Yes,
Councilmember Jennings,
Yes.
motion carried.
thank you. Next, we have the city administrator report.
Okay. Apologize, I just got this to you this afternoon. With some upcoming meetings listed at the top of this. Significantly, just to let you know that City Hall will close early this week on Wednesday at 3 p.m. for staff meetings. Council has been asking for me to have a staff meeting with everybody. So this is going to be on Wednesday afternoon. We have a new building official that is working for us now. His name is Mike. I always say it wrong, Musheri. It's Morseri is how it's printed, but it's Musheri. We do have an opening in our utility billing accounts payable specialist position. The position is posted on Indeed, it's posted on the MML website, and it's posted on the city website. So if you know of anybody that has accounting background that might be interested in that, please let them know. We're taking applications until April 11th. And just a couple of things. I applied for a grant through Oakland County's cooperative invasive species management area project that they have to help combat invasive species, plant species, that type of thing, to help with the overpopulation of Phragmites and vines out along Rainbow Drive or Rainbow Circle. So hopefully we can get that addressed. Hopefully we will be allowed to participate in that. And Oakland County, they're the ones that manage that. So they would come out and provide the contractor to take care of that. It's just that we have to file for that. Also, the community project funding request, speaking of the infrastructure that is in such dire need to be replaced for the water mains. Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib's office sent out an email letting us know that they have a community project funding that is open for communities to apply for. And it's $15 million, I believe, or it's 15 communities that they will choose. You have to apply for this, and it's up to $4 million for each community that wants to apply for that. So we are applying for $3,190,000 to ask for help in replacing our water mains due to the age that they have, and hopefully we'll hear good news on that. Just a few things else in here, sidewalk program replacement. You'll see people out from Gibbles Webster walking. The map is out on the website. It's also going to be out in the Your Town publication that is coming out in April. So there's a map there that will show you water line replacements, road work that's going on, sidewalk areas that are going to happen. And also we've listed consumers on there for some of their projects. So be looking for that map. Our pavement program is also starting, so that is listed in that. Just some other things. Let's see. Wanted to update that, I know we've had a lot of people ask questions about the gravel roads and the condition that they're in. And at this time of year, especially through February and March, with all of the snow and the rain and the rain and the snow and the changing weather that we've had, it's really hard to maintain dirt roads during this time because they freeze and they thaw, and there's a lot of ruts that get in them, or potholes that happen, big holes that happen. And no matter the amount of gravel that we put out on them, when you drive over them, they just get kind of flung out. So it doesn't keep that fixed very long, and it's very expensive to maintain that way. So we are looking at, as soon as the roads dry a bit, that they're going to get out and they're going to grade those gravel roads and put more gravel on there. And hopefully that fix will take. I don't know if there are any other questions that you have. I do want to point out that there is council training opportunities. In May, there is the Elected Officials Academy Spring Weekenders in Bay City. And there's two different options. It's on the last page of your report. There is the core weekender that is for anybody that has not gone through the Elected Officials Training Academy yet. And that focuses on effective public service, leadership, financial management, and planning and zoning. And then the advanced weekender focuses on municipal budgeting 101. Assessing or accessing and managing state and federal funding, strategic economic development with your community's backstory, and financial statements in audits and utility rates and settings. Just tried to update this, and also I have added this to the packet. So those of you that are in the public that want to see this, it is in the packet. So you'll be able to go in and click on that as well. Are there any questions on anything on here?
Yeah, just a couple. If you could make additional comments on city entrance signs. Could you tell us what that's about? City entrance signs in process?
In process. So any of the signs that we have, the ones located on the corner of 12 Mile and Southfield, 11 Mile, wherever we have city signage at when you're coming into the city, it's something that we will be working to bring back a cost analysis. Some of it is located within the DDA district. We'll be working with the DDA in order to put cost analysis back together. I know some of council had expressed concern before about either the signage itself, it's hard to see, the flower beds around them, whatever that may be. But it is something that we'll be working on to address and bring back to council so that you're.
And then, thank you. How about cannabis ordinance update? What's going on with that? It says looking into.
Yeah, we need to determine more what to do with that since it was voted down. Any of the ordinances that need to be repealed or changed, we need to work with the city attorney to be able to take care of that.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Couple of things. Was that position posted on the city website?
Yes, ma'am.
And then also, the dirt roads, I've been doing research and, it looks like there are multiple ways of managing the dirt roads, gravel roads. Is our crew trained in doing dirt roads?
It's part of the work that they do for DPS, yes.
Well, I know it's part of the work, but I've heard from multiple residents that the quality of the road work has gone down dramatically over the last several years. So I'm just wondering, there are different new products, there are new ways of, ditching and that kind of thing. So I'm just wondering if our crew, are they just going out dumping, gravel and patching holes, or do they know how to manage dirt roads? Is that something that we should check into?
I'm not sure I understand if you're asking if they're trying to address the roads or if they're looking for ways to improve the roads that we have that are existing, because they would be two separate things. Our DPS their job is to maintain what we currently have. If there's ditching or if there are other improvements to that road structure that need to happen, that's outside of the scope of work that they do.
Okay, I'll send you some of the research that I've come across
I
about how to
appreciate that.
deal with it, because we've have had a lot of complaints from residents about
Yeah,
that.
if you can send me that, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Sure. Anything else?
No, what? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to put in your ear, like, could you just look out for State Rep Jason Hoskins? They're supposed to be reaching out to you.
They did while I was
Okay.
sick, yes, and I have that on my call back.
Okay, thank you.
Did you want to say anything?
Yeah, I do. Okay, a few things. So,
You can jump in
Okay.
first.
This is our mini co-worker partner. I am Tony Dunbar, I'm the community liaison and legislative caseworker for Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib. A couple things I wanted to just make sure that you all knew. If you did not get our constituent services mailing, please let us know. I have a few that I'm gonna put downstairs as well, but it gives, thank you. It gives an outline, everything that we're doing right now or have done, and also the locations for you all to visit if you need to come in person to ask for specific questions that you have. We have a Detroit location that's on Outer Drive. It's located inside of the Henry Ford Health System, but that one that might be closer to you all is the one that's in the old City Hall for Southfield. And that's on Berg Road. Again, I have a few of those if you guys need for that. I did want to advise that going back to the community projects, that is due tomorrow by 5 p.m. if you guys haven't already submitted it, but I'm sure. Also, we have a packed at town hall. I am also an individual who works on passports, small businesses, VA, Social Security, and there's one more I'm missing because it's a lot of them. But packed that we are literally just getting our panelists together, but it's going to be on April 11th at 5 p.m. It's going to be a virtual town hall for individuals that are veterans that may have been impacted due to toxic exposure. And that town hall will be able to give you all the, or run out the outlines of how you can apply. We have already applied for your benefits for that, and get in contact with individuals who can assist you further. And then one last thing I kind of wanted to discuss is for individuals, because this has been like one of the top things for the past 3 weeks, passports right now. Everyone is leaving. I want to go with them. But due to the overwhelming increase in inquiries nationwide, there is literally no capacity for same-day appointments. So if you know anyone, or your family members, someone is going on a trip, the Detroit Passport Agency usually can work with us to do same day, and especially for emergencies. But right now, their turnaround time to even respond to us is 5 days. That's how bad it is. In the National Passport Agency, where they can locate wherever the passport is being processed, is 3 days. So I didn't want to just give that heads up, but nonetheless, we're still working on it.
for individuals who are really trying to get out of the country so far. But those are my main things I wanted to go over. If there's any questions for me, by all means.
Do you have a flyer for the town hall?
It's on our social media, but because we were trying to solidify our speakers, which got done today, we'll have something for you all and we'll probably, make sure that you all have it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
City Attorney, do you have anything?
Nothing, but just to Barb's point, I will get those ordinances repealing the cannabis ordinances that are on the books, but they're not able to be utilized because there has been no scoring matrix or application period. That took me a minute to remember what we needed to do. No application period that's been approved, so.
Thank you. Reports of boards, commissions, and committees. First up is Infrastructure Study Group. Here, Parks and Rec Committee.
We've had some successful bingo nights. I thank you to everybody who's come out for the events. Appreciate that. Appreciate the support. Encourage you all to look for the flyers and to participate. Our next event is Saturday morning. If anybody has a little one, we will be having breakfast with the bunny. Just call or email bcanez@lathropvillage.org and or see me and I'll register you. Looking forward to seeing everybody Saturday morning, 9 to 11.
Thank you for doing that. Planning Commission, not here. SEMCOG.
Nothing to report. We have a meeting coming up this week. I actually was gonna see if somebody would like to go in my place. So I'll be out of town.
Wait a minute.
What time? What day?
It's on Thursday. I'll send you the time. I forgot. I'll send it to you.
Southfield Public Schools.
I will be setting up a meeting with the school board.
Thank you. Any unfinished or new business? Public comment. Anyone that wants to say anything, come to the microphone or raise your hand on Zoom. You have 3 minutes to speak.
Like I
And
said, I live on Redwood Avenue. Relative to the budget, the 4.6 mil increase in our property taxes due to the school bond issues and the tax, transit tax, and with some of us paying $1,000 to $7,000 for sidewalk repair, I strongly urge the council to not raise our property taxes anymore this year. Thank you.
thank you. Come on up.
Hello, my name is Dean Kerman. I am requesting that the city ordinance related to sidewalk slab replacement be examined, be made more gentle on residents. I'd like the defect codes and inscriptions to be reviewed. It'd also be nice if there was some kind of clause related to something like maximum number of slabs or maybe percentage of slabs that a resident might be saddled with replacing for any one round of sidewalk replacement. The reason I asked, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was going for a walk, take my dog for a walk, and it struck me the number of slabs marked just on these few blocks over here behind the city building. And like some of them, and then I, looked them up and I got the stuff that was posted on the website about, what are we doing? What's the time frame? What's the letter going out to residents? And then the different types of defects and the wording about them. And one of the things that strikes me is there are cracks as one example. There are many slabs where I could roll a marble over the cracks that are marked on these replacements. And the average distance between slabs that are properly laid is somewhere between a half an inch and an inch. So we're charging residents something above $200 per slab for cracks, sidewalks that are perfectly navigable. You could walk a stroller, you could take a skateboard. Like I said, you could put marbles over some of these cracks and they wouldn't even pass the crack between 2 slabs. So I would really like city council to review that, and then just taking a quick look at like, the thing I said about, some kind of maximum percentage. Neighbor across the street from me just moved in. And they have 13 slabs, $2,700. Neighbor on the corner, that's at Lathrup and Sunset. They just moved in, and I'm talking like in the last few months. So brand new neighbors, welcome to the neighborhood. 14 slabs, $2,900. Other corner at Lathrup and Sunset, that's an existing neighbor, $4,000 because they have 19 slabs on their property. It's a lot. It's a lot to ask. Especially, like I said, some of these cracks, and I could show you a couple. I have a couple of pictures. I mean, you could see the one, I'd have to point what the crack actually is in the slab that's been marked. But just examples of some of the cracks. There's heaving and there are slabs that need to be replaced, but some of this stuff. It's a lot. It's a lot that, you know, it's bad enough if you're an existing resident, but like, welcome to the neighborhood. You owe $2,700 for a minor fracture in your sidewalk. So I really like that to be reviewed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I see your photo?
Is there anyone else that would like to speak?
What previous speaker just said in your group. I wanted to have the council review the people that are doing this cement work before they renew their contract. It might be too late, but of the 13 sidewalks pieces I had to replace on my lot, for every single piece of cement they dug up, they put a crack, a chip out of the one next to it. And for the ones that they shaved down, they put a crack in it. So I don't feel the quality was as good for the thousands that I get to pay also. So in review of paying them again to do this, I just wondered if they could better their quality or if somebody could oversee it, because I'm not happy all the money to pay for how bad my cement was. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Anyone online? No, some mayor and council comments. If I'm not mistaken, isn't there a punch list that Giffords Webster is doing now for the sidewalks? Is it Giffords?
Yeah. People Buster has a punch list for the sidewalk replacement program 2022 work. I expect that they will begin working on those items as soon as the weather maintains steady consistency of T&C, right? So my best guess at this point is April, mid-April, early May. They'll finish out those punch list items. So I will recheck Ms. Coons to see if your items are on the punch list, and if not, I'll bring those up too.
Can they give you their address?
Yes.
So we can have them come look.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Regarding the city administrator's report, because I see a certain resident here, I see that it's not on your list about the overpass, which we gave to Congresswoman Salib's office about the rail. Right.
Oh,
And
yes.
so if you could add that to your list, and if you could let us know.
Yep.
At some point. Yep.
Okay, gotcha.
So that was for Mr. Selinsky. I think that's all for me. Yeah, that's it.
State of the city.
Huh?
State of the city.
So the state of the city is Monday, the 27th. At the Regency Manor on 12 Mile and between Telegraph and Northwestern Highway. It starts at 11 o'clock. And we will be honoring Congresswoman Brenda Lawrence at that time. And yeah. Anything else? Or, oh, I guess that was me, never mind. Yeah, I'm so confused, I was not say that, but, any other council person?
Yeah, I just have a couple of things. I had mentioned this previously that I agree with you, the sidewalks that were marked, it was way too aggressive, way too aggressive. And that really needs to be looked at. And when I looked back at the recommendations from the infrastructure committee about the sidewalks, volunteers were supposed to be used to go out and mark the sidewalks. And I'm assuming that could be residents or whatever. And I would have thought that was a good idea, but instead Giffords Webster is doing it. And, you know, one of the guys who was installing sidewalks said to me, I can't believe this. Like, I told my wife, this city is crazy. They want everything to just be perfect. This is, you know, that doesn't happen. So anyway, you know, I please, if you are concerned that you have sidewalk slabs that shouldn't be done, please, I don't know who, reach out to me and I'll pass it on. And then also, in talking about the dirt roads and looking into that kind of thing, I was just wondering, Lathrop services, I was just wondering, when was the last time that those services were put out for bid? I know that some places privatization was a big thing for a while and it did save money, but some places have deprivatized, and found that going back to having, you know, their own workers was more economical than contracting that out. So I was just wondering, you know, is it time to look again? I don't know if we have monthly billing or if it's dependent upon the work that's done. We had very little snow this year. I don't know, you know, if it's just, you know, like if you hire a contractor yourself and, you know, you have to commit to so much. I don't know if that's how it works or if it's based on set jobs that, you know, they're going to complete.
Are you asking now or?
If you have the answers, sure, that'd be great.
I don't think we've ever bid that out. It was when the city decided to contract that out that was set up.
Years, former Councilmember Ferguson had requested that the matter be bid out 5 or 6 years ago, perhaps. At that time, when the city did seek bids, there were nobody that responded to the bids. There were no other like kind companies that would be willing to perform those services. Now, that may have changed since then, but we went with the privatization. That was one of the last things that former Administrator Jeff Mueller did before he left.
Right.
So that's been a number of years that we've been with Lathrup Services.
I guess I'd like to request a study session then maybe to take a look at that to see if there are things that we could be doing internally that at this point would be more economical. As I said, I know when privatization first went into effect, there definitely were savings, but prices have continued to rise. And I just think it's a big expenditure that we have. And I think that we should take a look at it.
Anything else? Well, that, you know, that's what it says. Then I will take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? Okay, it's been nice. Have a good night.